And I frankly believe this is a watershed event in the life of our public library in the city and county. And so your presence means a great deal to us. I think it's a defining moment for us because we are really at the nexus of generosity and gratitude. We're here to formalize our generosity, but especially our gratitude. I've often said that gratitude is a very superficial thing unless we feel a moral debt to those who make the way possible for us. And so I think it's out of a sense of moral indebtedness that we have come here today to say thanks to amazing generosity. We'll be saying some things as we move right through the agenda about the remarkable Daniel family. But I just want to tell you a little bit about myself, and this is a well-hidden secret. When I was much younger, maybe 19 years old, maybe I crossed beyond 20, I worked as a page in the public library, the Central Park Branch Library in the Birmingham system. And I walked away from that experience making two decisions. I knew that I no longer wanted to work as a page in the library system. One Halloween, somebody dumped scrambled eggs down the book drop. And because I was the low person on the totem pole, I had to clean it up. But in retrospect, I think that was a great honor. Because I also walked away from that experience knowing that libraries needed the support of the public. This is a public institution. And I think whatever we can do to underscore that reality is highly important. Now, it's a little humid in here, and so we'll be brief with these matters, but I just want to say that there's something vastly different about the atmosphere in a public library. When you walk through those doors, everything changes. Because on the outside, race still matters to some people. On the outside, age is a differential too. And on the outside, the place you occupy in society makes a difference. But when you walk through those doors, everything changes. This becomes a genuinely authentic public institution. And I hope you can detect the difference. It's really remarkable what is transpiring here. And our hats are off to Mrs. O's and Karen Pruse and so many who worked alongside them. I just want to say that these are important things, and I hope you'll forgive the idealism in me, but I think that these great concepts are important. I do know that this is an important place, and great transformation takes place here. And every time we come to this area, especially this young adult area designed for the future of adolescence, I think we have in front of us the opportunity to make a difference in surrounding areas and in the lives of young people whose potential has yet to be defined, but can be released in a place like this. So I just want to applaud your presence. There's much more sometimes to a gathering than we might recognize. And I, for one, believe that when generosity and gratitude come together, that's a powerful experience. And I think what we're experiencing today is a jump start of many good things to come. So we want to thank you for being here. Let me conclude this sermonizing with one quote from Albert Einstein. I never would have thought he said this, but he indeed did. He said, the only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of a library. And he's right. Because if you can locate a library, you can go anywhere in the world you want to. You can become any kind of person you wish to become. So I love that quotation from Albert Einstein. Smart man in many respects. So we're here today to acknowledge the Daniel family, but bringing greetings for us is our good mayor, Mayor Todd Strangers, who's a great partner in the journey of this library. So, Mayor, would you come? I think we have a signal for you out there.
That great ovation that Gar is giving us. Dr. Daniel, if you hadn't figured this out, he is a Baptist preacher. I had the privilege, Gary, of Friday evening delivering the message at Temple Bethel in Montgomery, and the the Bible scripture was from Proverbs, and it loosely translated says, where there is no vision, people perish. And vision for this library started many years ago, and we have a saying around our city that we never let money get in the way of the vision. Gets in the way of the timing, but never the vision. And no better example of the vision being impacted by the money. I told Dr. Daniels we had this great vision that turned into a $20 million project that we just never were able to get the full weight of citizenry and government. We were doing the middle of the Great Recession that we all have come through, but that didn't keep us from pursuing what we call the Library of the Future. And at some future point in time, we're going to understand, Jan, what the Library of the Future really does mean. But I know it has something to do with those technological devices that we have here. And Juanita and now Karen really are the champions of that, and to be able to go out and reach into this world to find those individuals that care about these libraries. I couldn't help but think when Gary was talking about, I was born and raised in Mobile, Alabama, and the library was downtown. It's a beautiful white building right there on Government Street. And on Saturday, when I'd ride the bus into town with my friend to go bowling on Saturday morning, we'd always walk 2 blocks to catch the bus right in front of the library. And if the bus was going to be a bit late, Tracy, we would in fact find our way into the library. And I couldn't also help but remember the library at the University of Montevallo, then Alabama College, because they had great hiding places. And that's where you and your date could hide while they were supposed to be in school. So we're grateful to each and every one of you that are here today, because by your presence, it says you care. It care because this is the seat of learning. Anybody can come through these gates, and at 3 o'clock or 3:15 this afternoon, it'll be wild in here with young people getting out of school and wanting to come use our computers. And if you don't want to support your library, if you'll come at 3:30, you'll see why it's important to be supportive of that. This is just the one of all of the ones that we've had, but it is the home, and it's a great history about this particular library and the namesake, Julian Morgan. And we appreciate your family, your mother and your entire family making this contribution to help veterans. As you can see, it's a construction zone. We're putting in new HVAC, which costs a bit more to start, but it's efficient, and this is what we have in City Hall, so we'll able to carry that forward. So welcome each and every one of you, and Juanita, congratulations, and we'll just keep on turning the pages to see what the next chapter of the Library of the Future is. Welcome all.
Yes, sir. Do we have other officials with the city?
I see Tracy Larkin here. He is a city council representative, and probably this is part of your district. Would you like to come and say and bring greetings?
I don't have to bring greetings, but I just want to express my appreciation for being here, and I am very proud that it is a part of my district.
It is, and he's a radio personality, so he's very articulate. We appreciate that. We have the head of the Alabama Library Association. Where is she? Nancy? No, there she is, Nancy.
Public Library Service.
Okay, good. Well, I know you're associated with libraries and you're head of it, so thank you. And Dan, you've got something to do with the big library in town as well.
Yeah,
That's
on the
great.
board here as well.
Good. Super. Well, welcome all and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't believe I see Elton Dean, Chairman of the County Commission. Any commissioners with us today? Well, I want to recognize Juanita Oates. She's been around the block a long time and has served us in an executive capacity for many years. She keeps the train moving forward, and we're at this propitious moment because of her leadership. So, Ms. Oates, would you come and share with us?
Before I get started my little spiel, I would like to recognize our board, because it is our library board who makes my ideas become vision. They adopt and validate the ideas that I present to them. So our library board, would you please stand? We have, our newest member is is Patina Moss, who works at Alabama State University. Adam Mullendorf, who's sitting in the back, has a marketing, public relations firm. Dr. Janice Franklin, who has been on an advisory board here before and is the director of the Levi Watkins Library at Alabama State University. She is as well a member of the board. And then our vice president, Reverend Gary Bird, who has served as president before and has come back as our vice president. And our president is out today because she had some other appointments. But we thank you so much for everything that our board does, because as I said before, I have ideas and they make it a vision, okay? Could you start the PowerPoint? Opportunities. Reimagining learning spaces for the children and the young people of Montgomery. This area and the area across from the staircase. Recognizing and honoring our major donors. Wonderful naming opportunities are available to major donors as we reimagine the children and young adult room. To create spaces where young people can come together and collaborate on assignments, to create videos, to edit their work, and do group work together. Wonderful opportunities where they can learn to use advanced technology. That's what this reimagining will do. Again, editing studios so that our young people can create videos and post them on YouTube that will appeal to other young people across the world. Smart boards, where when groups get together, they have an opportunity to sit and view the same information at the same time being shared by one another. Adaptive technology, where regardless of your physical ability or inability, you will always find a place and a way to use what we have here in the public library. Adaptive technology, sensory walls for those who have autistic issues, who learn better by seeing and touching. Smart boards to share in group activity, advanced technology, PCs and Mac computers. Introducing Mac computers will be a new phenomenon for us. But we know that our young people now are advancing from regular PCs to Macs. And so we want to also introduce those. What have we done thus far? We've worked on the infrastructure here. Our infrastructure, which includes a new roof, new carpet, painting, the upgrade to all of our restrooms, new elevator, and a new heating and cooling system that's being installed and is expected to be completed in April of this year. Coming to a total investment as of today of $976,000. That's outstanding. And it's straight out of the Treasury. It isn't from fundraising. It's straight out of the Treasury. We have naming opportunities. If someone wants to just cover everything that's going on in the library on both sides of this floor, it'll cost you $1 million. And I know there's someone around this city who has $1 million to give our library. The top level signage on the entrance wall here to the children's department is $500,000. Teen department top level signage on entrance wall, $500,000. Teen department furnishings, $175,000. Teen department technology, which has been taken already, $100,000. Children's department technology, $75,000. Furnishings, $75,000. Book and media collection, $75,000. Teen department book and media collection, $75,000. Sound and video editing room, $50,000. Outdoor Learning Center, we want to create spaces. We want to use every inch of ground here at the library. We want to, this area out here, we want to enclose it with a wall and put a life-size chessboard out there. We want to have a garden for our young people to work from. We want to have a koi pond. We want to do things out there that will engage our young people. We have a lot of over 80 kids who are in here from 3:30 to 6 in this room. So we need to have ways to engage them. Teen Arts and Science Outdoor Pavilion, $50,000, and the Children's Outdoor Area, $50,000. And that's how, those are the opportunities we have to present to you today. Michael Bedell, would you please come and share with our group today who Mrs. Jean Kimball Daniel is?
Thank you, Ms. O's, and good morning, everybody. I want to take just a minute of speaker privilege and share with you that just like Reverend Burton, I too worked in the library, but mine was in college. And although I never had to clean up scrambled eggs, I did often have to take a cart of books that were returned and put them in the shelves. And while most people would think that's a very tedious task, I don't think there was ever a week that went by where I didn't see a book that someone else had taken out, and I decided this might be interesting, and I just kept it for myself, and well, didn't keep it, of course, checked it out. And the other fringe or great perk of working at the library in college was that when you were at the circulation desk, every time a cute co-ed would check out a book, she had to come through me, and that was nice. I still got circles on my chest from them touching me with just 10-foot poles and saying, just give me my book and go on. Thank you very much, Ms. Daniel. I want to again say thank you to the Daniel family for your great philanthropy and generosity. Your mother, you know, is a remarkable woman, and we had the opportunity, thanks to our correspondences with Dr. William Daniel, to go up to Hoover and meet her a couple of months ago and tape an episode of Montgomery Focus. That's the 30-minute show that we've got on our city government cable channel, where we just try to profile different organizations and people who have interesting stories to tell. And she shared with us what it was like to live in Montgomery and to serve on the library board a half-century ago. We composed a clip that is a series of sound bites butted together where Mrs. Daniel will talk about the effort to build this building, which was at first housed by both the library and the museum. And then she also shares her vision of why libraries are important even in the 21st century if our society is going to go ahead. I'd like to borrow a term from Reverend Burton, who calls libraries the people's university. And that's exactly what they are. They're an opportunity to uplift our community. And then finally, she shared with us the efforts of integrating the library, how it was ordered by the courts, but resisted by City Hall, and the initiative that she and her colleagues on the board had to make sure that the library did not get closed down, because that's what a lot of public venues were doing. So if we could run the clip of Mrs. Jean Daniel.
The library and the museum went together because pool their money with the city, and the city really did want that building built. The library had, the museum had been in the basement of one of the old high schools that had been closed, and it was all hand to mouth. And so it was a matter of great pride, but it did serve the county and the city, and the ability to get books in the country areas was so limited, and we were the hub of that whole plan, and it was just, as I say, I feel a very important part of the city council structure and culture. So what I would like to see would be for it to grow in a way that is useful to coming time, especially for the underprivileged to have a place that can use modern technology. she had just tried so hard to ease the feeling toward the library so that it would not be closed. But as you know, the mayor had closed everything in Oak Park. So the monkeys, we had 2 monkeys down there for years.
Yes.
Poor things. But we had lost so much in Montgomery that closing anything that came along that was to be integrated. And we thought we wanted to save the library. There were many people who supported us, at least afterward. We had told our clerks to serve anyone who came in because the mayor sent word he'd fire them if they did. So with that kind of power play, everybody thought it would be over or something. So we went on to court and we put under restrictions of the federal government because they thought we could not in any way win with the city council. So he told us ahead of time we could not integrate. And then finally he called us down when it was getting closer and closer. We realized to a time of testing with other people. And so he sent for us to come down for a meeting and said that they would not protect us. They could not give us any police protection. And the windows had been broken out of the car of the chairman of the board. He lived in Oak Park, and his windows had been broken in his car. There really had been a big tide. You could see it in the city. Everybody was tired of it. The fighting and the fussing and the not going and standing at the door and all that. And after we received a letter of commendation from the Maryland government, and after that time, they were more willing to step out too. I think it was just the right time to do it.
She referenced the need for protection from the MPD because a group had sent an anonymous letter that said, if you integrate the library, we will have a sniper fire and shoot patrons that are here. And so Mrs. Daniel and the board made the decision to take out all of the chairs in the library and then slowly add them in as they realized that the threat was not going to be acted upon. But other public institutions had to shut down rather than integrate. Through Mrs. Daniel's courage, the library stayed open, and she's just a remarkable lady. I invite everyone to either look at the Capital City Connection or go to YouTube where you can see the interview in its entirety. And for members of the Daniel family, we've got DVDs that we'll give you later today so that you can see it. So again, thank you very much for your generosity, and we understand that your mother almost came here this morning. It would have been awesome to have her here. If I knew she was wavering, I would have bothered her all weekend long to try to tilt it in our favor. But thank you very much again, Reverend Berger.
Should we remind them that is a former mayor, not the present?
Yes. and 180 degrees in difference as well. And also, I want to thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councilman Larkin, for your generosity in saying it is time for us to become the library for the future. That took courage as well, because there are a lot of people in our community who might not have the library on the list of priorities where it should be. So for you to take $2+ million of city money, and now a little bit lower, thanks to the generosity of the Daniel family, shows that you're courageous and not like that mayor from Packing. Thank you.
When Commissioner Todd became Mayor Strange, I went to him and talked to him about a new library. And we talked about a construction grant as well that we were trying to get for our other libraries. And we got $450,000 from the state, Mobile. And we didn't include this library because Mayor Strange said to me, we're going to do something about that library. And I have to be very honest, and this is with sincerity. he has tried very hard to move us forward. We did Questplex, and Questplex failed. And we were so heartbroken about it, but he still said to me, continue to plan. As he said earlier, never let your vision get in front of the money.
Other way around.
Other way around, okay.
Vision's always in front of the money.
Okay, go on and do your planning, and we just continued to plan. And figured out that this building, our engineer said this was a very solid building and we could stay here. And we were happy with that. And we put some lipstick on it and it really looks good. But it's going to be even greater as we move forward with the other concerns that we have.
Just so you might know, Michael Burdell serves as the Public Information and External Affairs Director for the city, and he has brought tremendous strength to our mission and purpose as a public library. I want to recognize members of the Daniel family, and if I make a mistake, I hope you'll be forbearing and forgiving, but we're here primarily to also recognize Jean Kimball Daniel, the matriarch of this wonderful family, and the service she rendered on this library board many years ago. She served in the late 1950s, and she served alongside William E. Goodwin, Mrs. Winthrop Monroe, Mrs. William A. Daniel was reference to her, and Truman M. Hobbs and Robert B. Lovell. Those were high-powered names in that day, and you can only imagine the tension that was brought to bear on their service as well as employees of this institute. So we are here to talk about not only moral indebtedness, but moral courage too. And when people stand true to personal conviction, that might be the highest kind of courage of all. So we're indebted to Jean Kimball Daniel. And I have these DVDs for your keeping here in just a moment. I do want to recognize members of the family who are here, and I hope I'm pronouncing names correctly, but Dr. William A. Daniel III, Dr. Lilia S. Daniel, Dr. Roland K. Daniel, and I believe Virginia and Judy could not be with us today. And Judy, we're glad to have you too. This wonderful family means so much to us and because of their generosity, and I will just tell you, this happened at their initiative, which is almost unheard of. But because they knew their mother well, and because they knew the needs here pretty well, and investigated those needs, we're the recipients of their wonderful gift. I want you to stand. And is there a spokesperson for the family? Dr. Nate?
Which one? I was gonna say, which one?
Well, we can handle both of them.
The oldest one always takes the abuse.
Mother glory.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna let them know about that. Well, I was thinking that the genesis of this really started 75 years ago when my parents moved to Montgomery. But the even more immediate cause at that time was a trip to Mexico in the 1930s because my dad got polio, as did 4 of his friends who were on the trip. Messed his legs up, and when the war came along, he was not eligible to go into the armed services. And he wanted to do what he could, and so he asked the Public Health Service where there was a need for pediatricians. And Montgomery, Alabama was one of the choices. And that's the reason why they came to Montgomery in 1942 when he had finished his training. My brother, I, and the oldest of our sisters, Jeannie, all went through every grade of school in the Montgomery system that you could go through. And my younger siblings Ginger and Twinkle, went through everything until my parents moved to Birmingham and my dad became a professor of pediatrics at UAB. My mother has always been a very practical and wise person, and her advice is sought to this day at the age of 98 and a half. And there's a clinic for adolescent medicine at the university in Birmingham that's named for my father, and we thought, well, what the heck? We ought to do something for Mom, and we ought to do it now. And so we asked her, what are you interested in, and what would you like if we were going to do something? And she, I think, assumed we were just jerking her chain and teasing her, and didn't think we'd do it. So she said the library, and she came down to visit some friends, and we came by the library, and they showed us all that was going on and opportunities and things like that. And my mother thought that she might honor my father and coincide her interests by going with the adolescent part of the library. So it's a dual family choice. And my mother to this day is an avid reader when she can see well enough. And now she's got earphones, she can listen to the books on tape. So she's still an avid participant in libraries. We all had children that decided they wanted to go to college, and we went through the agony and the ecstasy of picking out colleges until I just said, I can't stand this anymore. The fact of the matter is that there are more books in the library of any college in the country than you will ever be able to read. So it really doesn't matter. It's really more a matter of what you do when you get there. And I bowed out and quit worrying about it. And unfortunately they didn't, and they all went to college, and they all cost me a lot of money. But they learned, and now the grandchildren are doing that sort of thing. So this is just a perpetuation of a family trend, and we're delighted to see that the library has such lofty goals and such practical plans. I've always had a soft spot for libraries, and I worried about them. They were structural, bizarre places because they had so much weight with the books. And now they can be feather light because it's all in the cloud. But it's nice to see the library adapting and entering into the future by providing the technology that's going to be in place and will be essential. So we think this is a wonderful project, and we're delighted to participate in it. And we hope that others will too. I always hoped that I would win a golf tournament or a lottery or something like that, so are we supposed to give this to the library?
Yes, to the library, and they're going to present it to the city.
Well, all right. There you go.
Would the family please come here? Would the library board also?
Well, I would say we've done our share, now it's time for other people to step up.
Adam?
Can you get one more here? 1, 2, 3. Right. All right.
Would the library board please stay? And Mayor, would you join us, please?
You had me join with that face. Are all of the Daniels family here doctors?
The three
Was
that
it?
I think we were
Are you a medical or academic?
We're all medical.
Yeah.
Well, I found
We like to think we're academic.
Well, your brother said he's medical and academic.
Well, he's a
Plastic
poser.
sir, he's a plastic
He's a
surgeon.
poser and he changes day by day.
Where's Tracy? Tracy, you want to get on the other end with Gary? Because if this hadn't come in, Tracy was gonna take this from his guy.
All right.
Good.
Use it well.
Well, thank you very much. Well, once again, I want to say thank you for being present today. I do want to say one more thing to the Daniel family. We want you to convey to Jean our great love and appreciation, and for how powerfully we think she's perpetuating her influence and the influence of this family. We're indebted to her. How I wish we could know her, because I think you come from the right stuff. Thank you so much. One final concluding thought. Everything has a way of working out, and many years ago, we were told that this facility was located on the highest terrain of the city. That's why it's called High Street right out here, because we overlook everything. We're not the tallest by any means, but this location could be fortuitous and strategic for us, because from this high point in the city, we have a message to share, and we want to say that the library is of vast importance if a person wants to grow and develop and mature. We think this is the starting place, in addition to the home, for making life count. So, because we're located on High Street, I think it's symbolic and powerfully so. Thank you for being here. We hope that you'll join us for refreshments. Mr. Mayor, thank you again.
Thank you.
Always be Dr. Daniels.
Did you? Yeah.
But you're not back, right? And,
Me and Claire did go.
it's not actually right there. It was when the elevator was out. She's on a walker.
In fact, that was